tell us about your first adjustment. How did you find chiropractic, or how did chiropractic find you?
Yeah, chiropractic. I got to know chiropractic in 2012 when my wife wanted to get pregnant, and a doctor sent us to a chiropractor to make the reception better, and we both have been adjusted. And I walked out of the room and talked to my wife and said, if I have known this when I went from school, I would love to study this.
Wow. Yeah. So what did you study? What were you studying?
I studied in the beginning economics and then business studies, Master of Business.
Okay, wonderful. So I have to ask, who was the chiropractor that you saw?
The first chiropractor was one who was recommended to us in Berlin, or a female chiropractor. And I asked her how I can get into the field. And she said, you can only study it in the abroad, in the US or in the UK. And as I was founding a family in this moment, it was for me, oh, sorry, you can't do this. And but I didn't follow this sword and get informed what else possibilities there are in the room or in the field. And I made my alternative practitioner at the moment, so I would have been a perfect moment to follow this idea, but I didn't, unfortunately. And then 7 years later, I think, or seven years later around, I made my alternative practitioner in 2014 and thought I would work in the psychological field, but never found a place there where my heart gets beating, where I get in resonance. And then I put this idea by the side and worked again in the field of economics. And despite of that, I still was interested in the alternative medicine, and I get in touch with nutrition. Yes. And over this, I called an old friend of mine from the studies, from the college time, and this was Corinna Haag. And she asked me what I'm doing, because we haven't talked a long time ago. And I said, yes, I make this, and I'm an alternative practitioner, but I don't know what to do really in my life with that education. And then she said, why you don't do chiropractic? And I said, okay, I know it, but I have to study it. And she said, no, you don't have to. There's a guy in Hamburg. He educated me, and he's from America, and it's a really good teacher. If you want to learn chiropractic, go there. And then I contacted Mark, and we had a short telephone call. And then he said, okay, come to my next lessons. And Corinna told me, you can go there to hear the first part, philosophy of chiropractic, and then you can decide if you want to make the whole thing or just leave. And I said to him, okay, Corinna said me I can do the first part and then maybe leave. And he said, why would you do this? If you get the meal in a restaurant, or if you go to a restaurant, do you just order the appetizers and then judge over the rest of this restaurant and go to the whole meal and then make your decision? And that what I did in May 2021. And then I made the whole course with Mark, and he's my chiropractor now.
But I love that your first experience with chiropractic was so life-changing, because I didn't ask, did you actually have a baby then?
Yes. I had. My daughter is now 10 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, and my wife made good decisions in this time, because she didn't went to a doctor or school medicine. I don't know if it's the same word in English.
So your wife didn't go to medical doctors?
Yes, She searched the internet for a colon cleansing, because she made it before. And there she met other people, and they recommended the doctor, which recommended the chiropractor.
Yes.
So it was a circle, and yes, we have everything solved out.
Yeah. I think it's such a great example of restored function, that chiropractic restores function and expression of life, of it's not working, I can't have a baby, and then it is working, I have a baby. That's so clear. Not working, working, here's a baby.
Yeah.
That's really amazing, and definitely one of the most life-changing things that then you can experience.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I want to ask a little bit more. If you have already come to a Discover event, a Healing Fest with Dr. Mark Stiers, how has that changed you? And then what has been your experience so far this week?
Yeah, I have been to two healing fests and many brain gyms before with Mark. And it was always that I made a change in my own energy and in my work with myself to get stronger and fitter in the brain and get more confidence in what I'm doing. And that's, I think, is also the same with here. It's kind of usual.
Yeah. But for you to take that time and energy to fill yourself up so that you can have more for your wife, your daughter, your patients.
Yes, yeah. And I think it's a very important thing to do at least once a year for every chiropractor to do that, because you're working with people and this costs you energy, as you can tell it in carbohydrates. And it's more like energy with pulsing and
Yes.
pulsating in you.
So I think people sometimes want to know, okay, how is going to a healing fest, how is doing this kind of work different than just you were on vacation in Spain for a week? Of course you're rested. How is this different of an experience of refreshing yourself?
Good question. Yeah, if you make a holiday, you relax, but if you don't do brain jumps, you don't lift up your nerve system.
Yes.
And I think that's the main difference, that if you are doing a healing fest like we do now, you lift up your nerve system and gets a power which you don't have if you just relax.
So after you return from this kind of an event where it's not just a vacation, like you said, you're really doing a nervous system reset, what difference is there for you going to work to serve people? What do you see is different?
Yeah, I would say I'm more energetic. I can work better. I get more information and can give more power in these adjustments in energetic and technical way.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah.